What is up, CineNerds?
Hey, I'm your friendly neighborhood JP.
And I'm your friendly fat guy, Ryan.
So, if you'd like to, go to CineNerdsPodcast.com. You can check out all of our new episodes. We got a shop there, and there's some stuff on that shop. What kind of stuff is on that shop there, Ryan?
Well, I'm going to start off talking about the hoodie because I just ordered a hoodie off
I,
there.
I was told you ordered a
I got
hoodie.
an oversized hoodie. I'm really excited. It's coming just before I leave for my vacation this weekend, so I'm excited.
So yeah, we got hoodies, coffee mugs, shirts, all kinds of fun stuff.
Which, if you notice on our TikTok and our other areas, we have those. That we have the coffee mug very well featured with my dumbass.
I just shared that post.
Outstanding.
So
all right. Well, I guess let's jump into it. So this week, I picked a movie called The Descent, and I chose this specifically for a couple reasons, and that being my wife and JP.
because he wanted to fuck with me.
So claustrophobia is not one of my fears. We'll talk about phobias on this, I'm sure, but claustrophobia is not one of them. It's up there because these tight sequences they really fucked me a little bit until we get into some of the breakdowns. But yeah, so my wife, she's not a fan of claustrophobia, neither is JP. I was like, well, my wife watches these with me, so let's go.
So yeah,
And wait, this is one of our October ones, right?
no, this actually will be I think the week before October.
Well, then I won't be in the chat tonight while you guys are viewing this. My apologies. I'll be on vacation, so I guess not apologies, but we'll carry on. JP, you better lead it strong in this chat.
He's leaving the country. He wants away from me.
I downloaded WhatsApp. It was so funny. My wife texts the kids and she's like, make sure everyone has some app called WhatsApp downloaded. It sounded like an 80-year-old. I was like, you whippersnappers. Like, you little... Anyways. So The Descent.
So initial reactions. So just diving into this, kind of why he chose this movie. You guys if you watched the episode for Fall, you know I hate heights. I also despise anything like claustrophobic. So I watched this film when it originally hit DVD, I think, and I only ever watched this film one time. I never watched any of the sequels. Well, I may have watched the second one, but I don't remember anything about it.
I had the exact same process happen. So I was like, wait, there's a part two? And I watched the trailer for part two. I'm like, wait a minute. I do remember this because I remember the opening sequence. Could have been because of the trailer, but the opening sequence being because it takes place right after the first one.
Yeah.
Which I read and found out later that was part of his paying respects to like Chainsaw Massacre and things like that. So it was pretty cool.
I think I have seen the second one, but I don't remember really anything about it other than, like you said, I remember it takes place directly after the original. But I had a love-hate relationship with this film when I watched it. Like, I really actually enjoyed this film a lot, but goddamn, I fucking hated this film at the same time because it's so claustrophobic. Especially the first 45 minutes of this film are really claustrophobic. And so I fucking hate it. Now, I will say, this movie does not terrify me as much as The Fall.
No, The Fall fucked with me too.
Like, The Fall was hard.
And for those of you who hadn't seen that episode, go back and watch The Fall if you want to see JP and I be a little squeamish while James laughs at us.
Like, literally, if you go back and watch the episode, if you haven't seen our review of Fall, I'm literally having a panic attack on camera with just us talking about the film.
It's pretty bad for me too. The heights. So like, my wife and I talked about this when we watched this film actually. So the thing for me with phobias is more so anything I'm not in control of, anything I can't be in control of. So if my fat ass falls and gravity adds into the mix, I'm a pancake. I'm a bag of skin. And it's just, that's horrifying to me. That sharks, especially great whites, because they attack from below, shit's creepy. Now, as a fat guy, also, these tight spaces and these crawl sequences were pretty hard to watch.
Yeah.
Only for the fact of imagine actually getting stuck. Like, oh my God, you're under all this fucking ground. Mm-hmm. Anything could happen. Fuck that.
Yeah, it gets real tight because I mean these girls go into an unexplored cave system, and yeah, and they're crawling through some just awful fucking tight squeezes.
So we both got off on a little tangent there. So you said initial reactions. You talked about your phobia. What was your?
I mean, I had, like I said, I had a love hate
Just love it. Okay. Gotcha.
with it. Like I actually generally liked the movie, but I just fucking hated it at the same time because it's so. The first 45 minutes specifically are very claustrophobic.
One of the taglines for this movie is, and I didn't know this till I was rewatching and reading through, but it's scariest movie in Earth, not on Earth, and that was kind of clever, I thought. But there's another name of this. The Danish call this The Descent into Hell, and that's pretty much the extent of what we get out of this movie. And for those of you who don't know this movie, I don't want to. You're gonna get. This will be spoiled for you. But if you haven't seen this, imagine, if you will, Nosferatu-looking blind bat or vampire people living below the surface who have never had contact with the upper world, and these are the things that these women run into, and it goes from there. It is literally a bonkers film, and I love every step of it.
So, and I was looking. Your camera cut off. Why did your camera cut off?
My camera cut off? How long did it cut off for?
It just clicked off.
What's going on here? All right, so technical difficulties.
But
that's all right. That's all right. So that just means you had another minute probably to stare at JP's face.
Yeah, we'll edit that. So what I was getting ready to say, the director of this film, did you look up the director?
Neil Marshman. Yeah, he did a movie you've talked to me about called Dog Soldiers.
He did Dog Soldiers, and he did Doomsday.
I have not seen Doomsday, I don't think.
You'll like Doomsday.
That's you know what's funny? I joined it's like a post-apocalyptic movie fan group, and that was one of the movies that just popped up, so I got to check it out.
Yeah, it's kind of like 28 Days Later meets Mad Max meets Excalibur.
So it's like Wormwood. You ever seen Wormwood?
I've seen Wormwood. It's way better than Wormwood.
Wormwood ones are bonky. I fucking love them.
I've only seen the first Wormwood, but yeah, it's literally, it starts, it feels like 28 Days Later, then it feels like Mad Max, and then they get into like all these castles and stuff, and then it almost turns medieval, and then it turns back into Mad Max. Like, it's straight up bonkers. Like, but it's a great movie.
He also, an underrated Netflix gem that got canceled way too early, in my opinion, Lost in Space.
Yeah.
He also did some of that. So, the great director, though, in my opinion, especially for what he was going for here.
Yeah. No, he's done some really cool shit, and this is one of the other really cool ones that he did. I think he's one of these directors that he doesn't have a huge catalog of films he's done, but some of the ones he's done have been pretty bonkers films, and I like them. So this movie starts, and there's one thing I want to point out. So it starts and it shows these girls whitewater rafting, and you see like the main girl looking onto this rock with her child and her husband cheering her on, and so they stop, pull off of the river, and one of the girls they actually shove into the river, and when they all get out and she gets out of the water and comes back up onto the side of the river, everybody is bone fucking dry. Even the girl that just got dunked in the water. I was just like, my very first note is all the girls are really dry getting out of this.
Sarah, the girl who went in, her hair was still wet. I'll give it.
No, one scene, then the following scene directly after it is bone dry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, trust me, I was watching.
I'm guessing it's the shock of seeing this chick supposed to be your best friend flirting with her husband the way they were, because dude, you know what's funny is like, I saw this opening sequence too, and the first thing I thought of was The Fall, because we had a similar kind of story build up in the fall where there's infidelity or cheating happening, and it was interesting. But anyways, yeah, that opening sequence, it goes hard right afterwards, like almost immediately.
Yeah.
So the water rafting thing happens. Sarah, her husband, and her daughter all in a car, all driving. The husband gets distracted and goes head on into another car, and this is like a utility van. On top, there's a little tube that's got all these.
It's like an electrical conduit pipe.
Yeah, it's like copper pipe, and for whatever reason, they're all pointed.
Yeah.
So they go right through the front window into the husband and the daughter both, and Sarah survives. And you see this horrific moment. They're in the hospital, and so there's this period of healing, and that's where this grandiose idea from Juno comes with these other women that are like sisters to her, that they go and do this trip.
So yeah, they take her after her child and her husband die, and they take her on this trip to the Appalachian Mountains to go hunting through caves in the Appalachian Mountains. And I say this is because this is where I grew up.
Well, then on one of these episodes, we're gonna have to talk about the old skinwalkers. We're gonna have to get in deep on those. Is there any movies about a skinwalker?
I'm pretty sure there has to be. There has to be.
Because you know what, I really feel like all the shit I've heard, like I would love to hear more stories about that stuff, especially after I've got a little story of my own from those. But I digress.
So yeah, that was the first thing I was looking. It was like, where's this at? Where is this cave system supposed? Now I know that this wasn't filmed in the Appalachian Mountains. He filmed it in was it Switzerland or
but
it was someplace.
So between permitting, permissions being given, and everything that went into it, safety being the biggest one, it became far too difficult to actually film in caves. They actually made 21 different cave sets that were built, and they reused them and re-angled them and moved them around and used different uplighting from the camera angles as well, to make what becomes pretty intense moments. I really, really loved some of the moments in this movie.
But I had to see where this was supposedly at in the film, and so it was a bit southwest of where I grew up at, west of Asheville. So it actually wasn't too far from where I grew up, is where a lot of this kind of supposedly was taking place at. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, this movie hit different. I definitely was a fan of everything they went through in this. There's a character in this too. I'm pointing out some trivia moments here before we get into this, really, because this is kind of funny. I've seen numerous actors talking about things they've stolen off set before, and when you see those little interviews, it's always fun to hear them talk about it later. And it's like, are they going to get dinged? Are they going to have somebody come back to them, give them shit? But in this one, the one character, her name is let's see, Holly. The actress's name is Nora Jane Noon. They made an exact replica of her head, and she likes pranking her mom, so she put said replica of her head in their freezer, and she would prank her mom off there with this, and every time it worked apparently. So I just thought that was awesome. Not as awesome as Ewan McGregor stealing lightsabers, but we'll talk about that in another episode.
We had to throw a Star Wars reference in there.
Oh, this one would be interesting for 6 Degrees of Star Wars. Oh.
This one would be a hard one. I don't know if I could do this one.
We'll keep going.
Yeah.
I'll think of it.
I feel like if we did, it would have to tie back to the director.
You know what? I already got it. The one character's name is Juno, and Juno is a sub-character in The Force Unleashed, the video game. I did it in 2.
I don't.
You want to do direct actors? Does it got to be actors?
I think it'd be direct actors or directors.
Okay. Give me a few.
I think if it was going to reach, we could even say producers. So one of my next notes is I hate this movie. I hate fucking caves. Direct quote from me right there in my notes.
I like caves. I don't like the first crawl sequence before the cave in. That was the only one that really got me.
Yeah, really once you get past the first, I don't know, what 30, 40 minutes of this film, it's not very claustrophobic after that. I mean, to me, it didn't feel that bad after that. The first, we'll say 45 minutes. 45 minutes can get pretty claustrophobic. And I would tell you why this change happens around 45 minutes. Because you don't see your first monster. And the monsters do not start showing up until 52 minutes into this film. So
you hear them, though.
You hear them.
You hear little echoes, and they're like, what the fuck's that?
But you don't actually put eyes on a monster until 52 minutes into this film. I will say, that was one thing that I get they were world building, but that's one thing that I was like, man, where's the monsters? It took forever to get to the fucking monsters. But once the monsters show up in this film, this movie picks up, and it doesn't feel as claustrophobic. It's more a bonkers horror film set in a cave after that.
And the crew, so let's talk about the monsters for a minute. They're actually referred to as crawlers. And the crawlers' costume design, it changed a few times, but it was kept from the entirety of the cast. So there's a scene where there's like the night vision scene, I guess that, and one of the first sequences combined with the first crawlers coming into view. That was real reaction from the cast. They had never seen the way they looked, and they all ran off set laughing because they were so scared and frightened. So I have to laugh at that. And that said, with the exception of the crawlers too, I will point out one more thing. It was very important. We referenced Dog Soldiers earlier. Dog Soldiers was almost an entire male cast. So Marshall in this one, he went for an almost all female cast throughout the entirety of the movie, with the exception of the husband. So kind of interesting, but yeah. But yeah, the crawlers.
Yeah, once they show up, this movie really opens up. It's not really claustrophobic at that point.
No,
there's intense, but it's not claustrophobic.
But so they did something with the crawlers that I really, really appreciated, and I had never been familiar with this reference, and I had to look it up. But the crawlers themselves, when they filmed them with 18 frames per second with a 45-degree shutter, which they referenced a staccato movement. I had never heard that reference, and it's a reference actually from music about sharper notes than others, and they're going for sharper views and angles of the crawlers. So I appreciated that immensely. It did give a little bit more of an eeriness to them. It gave them a little bit of a slower approach instead of just quick, fast, straightforward filming. So I like when directors get creative like that. I think that was a really nice little touch.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some really great shots. You know, I don't know if it was the director or if it was the cinematographer that was, you know, pulling some of that stuff off. But you know, Marshall, he has some great shots. But in a lot of his, I mean, going back to Dog Soldiers or Doomsday or some of these other films that he's done, he's always had some pretty fucking unique shots. So I don't know if he uses the same cinematographer or if he's kind of there with them going, hey, let's try this.
I think this guy's a very big on paying homage and his influence as being part of his movies. He actually cited the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Thing, and Deliverance as the three inspirations for this film. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a pretty cool blending of movies, especially when you throw Deliverance in the mix. It's this inbred, untouched colony of crawlers underground, so it just kind of tied into that. I would even further the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to Hills Have Eyes maybe a little bit more, but those were his three references.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I had read that someplace at some point, but I could definitely see like The Hills Have Eyes or something like that more so than some of those. But I get it. I mean, he's stylistically. I get it. You know, with those
stylistically.
Yeah.
All right.
Making words up here. It goes with my mullet.
No judgment. No judgment.
So I've got a bad haircut because I haven't went and got my hair cut.
I'm going to tell this story real quick, off topic from the movie. So my daughter's boyfriend, when I first met him, he had a mullet, and I'm like, well, did he get in a fight with a pair of scissors? Like, why would he have a mullet? She's like, Dad, it's totally in again. It's a thing. Everyone's cutting these. They all want them. And I looked at her. I go, that's cool. I go, but I just want to point out one thing from my years of experience. It's that not one person that I've ever met in my life ever looked back in their life and said, God, I missed my mullet. Not one. Not any that I know, at least. So I it's all you, buddy.
I can rock it.
See, I don't consider yours so much more mullet, more so like a faux hawk, mohawk thing going on.
Well, because originally it was shaved and it was shaved down, and it's just all grown out, and I've not gotten anything cut, and It's just me being lazy.
You're wearing it well. It's going on.
Me being lazy. I didn't even comb my hair this morning. So
I put a hat on.
I started to do that to hide it. So the descent. So we find out throughout this film, Juno is a cunt.
I guess we should dig into the characters here.
Yeah, let's get a little back.
Sarah is the main character. Juno is like the one who organizes this and wants everyone to go. Before I get more into the Juno Road, there's Beth, Rebecca, Sam, Holly, and so these women all come together and they do various things, kind of life affirmations or however you will, but they do trips. The previous one was the whitewater rafting. By the way, the whitewater rafting sequence, that was all them. They did all their own stunts, did the whitewater rafting. I appreciated that because I've done that and it's fucking so much fun. But anyways, but the caves they're supposed to go into are supposed to be a level 2 cave system. Juno had other ideas, other plans, and she wanted to be more spontaneous, discover a cave and be the first to ever go through it. They find out they weren't, clearly. But so she takes them into this wild adventure, into this cave system that is actually unknown, doesn't tell them. As the events unfold, Juno becomes much more diabolical. At first, she comes off as like, okay, this chick's gonna be a badass, and she's like messing up these crawlers left and right, and I felt really good. I was like, okay, maybe even though she came off cunty, she's going to be like a good protagonist here and help. But no, in comes, who is it? I think it's Sam. Sam's behind her, and Juno is scared, turns around, and her pick for climbing puts it right through her throat. And so Sam collapses, falls on the ground, and Juno thinks that Sam is dead at this point, so she's left. Sam, however, is not dead, and so when Sarah runs into her later and finds her on the ground, she tells her what happened, and things start to connect there. But
she also grabs Juno's necklace.
And had it in her hand, yeah.
And had it in her hand when Sarah found her. And there's a thing with the necklace that comes out that Sarah finds out that Juno was actually sleeping with her husband.
Well, that's what I mentioned in the beginning. I mean, it was very evident in the beginning. You could tell there was a tension there. And the funny thing is, like, Sarah's not. She's trying to give him the benefit of the doubt almost. Like, she sees these things. They're very evident in front of her. But she is definitely like, no. I'm reading into this. I'm being jealous. It's stupid. And I always tell everyone, don't second guess your gut. Your gut to tell you everything. But yes, so those things start unfolding. Juno is definitively a cunt. I wanted her to come back because she was kind of a badass character. But and she even had her moments and purposes throughout the movie as that badass character. But also still, I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
So some of these things, some of these scenes, some of these sets, as things keep unfolding between the girls and they're going through, they find out that they were not the first ones down there. There was other ones down there.
There's a lot of dead skeletons and bodies down there.
Well, but then there's also, they find that one specific climber. Like, they find gear and stuff from another climber. It's funny because this was an all-chick cast, too, by the way. I mentioned the pick earlier. They were calling this, what was it, chick pick? Or they had some kind of a name for it that was unique and fun. But the scenes and sets in this movie, though, with all the bones, it's we have, I think, ahead of us in January coming up. There's the Bone Temple, the final installment that we think for the 28 days later. I don't know what you'd even call it at this point. I guess
I thought that was supposed to be a whole new trilogy. I thought we were supposed to get in 3 films.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I thought. Maybe I'm wrong.
I hope, but that kind of led me to like there's a flare that they use underground. There's different lighting they have underground, things that you see, different lighting angles that reminded me a lot of what we saw out of the 28 years later first part. And so I was here for a lot of the scenery, especially the bone piles, the blood pond, or the waste area. It looked like they had their own bathroom area.
Yeah,
she's swimming in it.
Sarah falls in it and is swimming in it and covered in blood.
And because there's the pick, and because of the blood scene, I don't know if I read this correctly or maybe it's backwards, but one or the other inspired the other. I don't know which came out first, but Tomb Raider, there's a scene in Tomb Raider that is very similar to the sequence where she puts her head up out of the bloody pond or whatever it is and the bones, and you can just see the light reflecting, and it's a pretty cool moment, but I don't know if it was that influenced Tomb Raider or Tomb Raider.
Was that in the Tomb Raider remake games?
No, it was in a movie.
I couldn't remember if it was the movie or not.
So I only read that. So if I'm wrong, go ahead, feel free to throw that in the comments. Let me know.
Because I haven't watched any of the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies in years.
I was gonna say they're fun. They're absolutely fun, but
I didn't think that she really had the little pickaxe until the remake.
I think there was always a pickaxe.
Was there?
Yeah.
Maybe there was.
That's part of Tomb Raider.
I get it, but I didn't play a lot of Tomb Raider until the remakes.
Yeah, so I found I played Tomb Raider, the first one, for a little bit, and I was like, this is kind of lame. Yeah. Not my cup of tea. I did, however, love Uncharted, same vein. But...
See, and I love those the Tomb Raider reboot games, Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Those were fantastic, but those original ones, I played the first one a little bit, and that's about it.
That's because a lot of us are spoiled now, like Doom. We go back and the old school 8-bit Dooms are rough, but I've been playing the new one, Dark Ages, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Well, even when the original Tomb Raider came out, though, it's I didn't play them. I played the first one, and I was like, this isn't for me. It's just the controls were wonky, and so when they did that reboot series, I was like, I'm here for this. This is going to play good. This is going to look good, and I love those games, but. So I don't remember a lot about the Tomb Raider movies or those old games to even compare them.
Right. Did you know that because it was an all-female cast, that there was a area on set, one of these cave sets, that they called the crevice? The girls all nicknamed it the vagina. Just wanted to point that out there. That was theirs, not mine. Just saying.
I didn't read any trivia for this film.
I had to because it got I read a couple bits and now I got more and more into. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Jess, I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, Jess, did you know? And I do all that stuff to her, and she's like, okay, Ryan. Okay.
I normally go through and read a ton of trivia on everything, and I was so busy, chaotic this weekend, and I was trying to watch. We were going to be filming 5 episodes today, and
I fucked it up.
He fucked it. That's fine. So I rushed to watch 4 movies and on top of other stuff and working. So normally I would sit there and go back and read trivia and this and that, and didn't even really get to read a lot of trivia for some of these films. And so this was one I really didn't read much trivia. I don't even think I read trivia at all for this one.
At some point on set, there's a dog. I forgot what part the dog was in because it was so minor, but they brought in a dog from one of the shelters that was where they were filming for this moment in the film. And afterwards, the director, Neil Marshman, he adopted the dog. So I thought that was kind of cool too.
Kind of like they did in Prey.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
So, and this is wrote in my notes as well. If these monsters are blind, and there's a scene where, and I can't remember which character it was, but she has this glow stick, and she's swatting this glow stick at this monster, trying to keep the monster away from her. And the monster is literally dodging this glow stick every time she swings it. And I literally wrote in my notes, if these monsters are blind, how was it dodging when she was swinging this glow stick at
They've
her?
never. I can answer that. So this is like a Daredevil moment. So they've never had the sense of eyes. So I guarantee their feeling and their audio receptors, their ears are all dialed in. And if even the sound,
But does
I can
the,
see
does, does the movie tell you that though, or are you just concluding?
I'm concluding that because these creatures have never had to use their eyes. They're blind. And so if they're operating like bats too, that was the other thing that kind of like, I thought that was what they were going for, especially with the look that they had, but there was and the noises they made too made me think echolocation, like they're using echolocation. But if that's the case, they still would have seen their bodies, So I don't know. It's interesting, but I did, there's something, this kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of, there's an island that's over in, it's like just north of Australia and just south of Japan, Philippines, that type area. I don't know where, but it's untouched by humans. We're not allowed to go there. There's a tribe on this island they will basically kill you if you go on the island.
Is that the one where they're cannibals and shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so this movie kind of reminds me of that. It's this untouched community of humanoid people with their own language, their own way of life. They have a hierarchy. There's females, there's males, there's a kid in this. There's a kid crawler at one point. I was like, what the fuck?
And the kid crawler dies.
Yeah.
And usually, previous movies, I'm not all about the kids getting killed in movies, but I didn't.
Little fucker.
I didn't mind this. I didn't mind this at all because this was a monster kid, and so it was like, yeah, fuck this thing.
Yeah, no, there's so many good sequences in this. Speaking of which moment was the most uncomfortable for you? With your claustrophobia,
probably where she got stuck in the tunnel and then it started caving in.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that was. I'm on par with you there. I'm not even like super claustrophobic, like you said, but that moment probably was it for me too.
That was for me. That was probably the roughest. Especially like even before when she got stuck, when they're crawling through that hole and then where they come back up out of, it's like in water, and so they're coming up out of water in this hole, and it was just like ugh.
Outstanding. I'm glad I delivered here. The chain of events that happens to these 5 women. It ends up being Juno and Sarah towards the end, and they both go through their own attempts at escape. Sarah finds the way that she needs to get to. She basically finds where they drag animals and other people and victims into their domain. And she's crawling up and she escapes through and she makes her way to the road and finds their car, and she's driving on the road and she just pulls over and she screams nonchalantly, and that's the end of the movie for us Americans.
Yeah, there's 2 different endings. I did know this, and I have actually, I think originally when I watched this on DVD when it first came out, either I watched the European ending or I watched the American ending, and the European ending was a deleted scene on the DVD. It was one or the other. But regardless, one or the other was a deleted scene, and so I saw both endings. So
I have not seen the other ending.
Yeah.
But I've heard, after reading about it, I want to see the other ending.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off that, The Descent 2, because it takes place right after the ending I just talked about, is the American continuation, the American sequel, if you will. So
the European ending is essentially the same, but then you find out that she hallucinated getting out. She was still in the cave. She basically went mad.
So that's where I wanted to go from here. I want to talk about. So I did not know. I watched this movie, a few times through early years when it first released. I hadn't seen it in some time. And so when I was going through the trivia, I took the time to do my due diligence in reading this. And there's a theory. Actually, there's a deleted scene that leads to this theory. The deleted scene is right after the car accident in the hospital. So her husband and daughter have died. She's going through it. She's in the hospital. There's a shadow of a crawler in the hospital. So that scene was supposedly deleted, removed. I don't remember seeing that. If it wasn't the one I saw, I don't remember it. But they supposedly removed it because it made it too direct of a thing for people to theorize that she imagined all of the cave. Not being there with her friends, she was there, but she imagines the crawlers doing all of the work that she was doing, where she has killed her friends. I thought that made 10 times more sense in a better movie.
Yeah, it does. And what's funny is I did not read that. Like I remember watching that original ending, both the original endings, and I have not watched this movie since then. So I've only ever watched this movie one time. So I really didn't remember much about it. And the only thing I could remember was there was something weird at the ending of this movie. She hallucinated all this, or it was something. It was the only thing I could remember. And so I didn't go back and read anything to realize that there was 2 separate endings, and I had seen both of them. So when I started this movie over this weekend, I was sitting there thinking the whole time, I'm like, did she really die in the car accident? She's like in levels of hell or something in her mind, or is like she just in a coma and hallucinating this whole cave with her friend? Like, my mind was doing all this like scenarios of where is this movie going, because I really thought that that this really didn't happen, or she hallucinated all, or something, or she was dead. Yeah, I was in my head the whole time watching this until I finished it.
That would kind of tie into the Danish title, the European version altogether, which is The Descent into Hell. That kind of goes with that. It's kind of like a spiral into madness, but it's all in her head. And the way that we get this movie out of it's pretty amazing. Couple other little tidbits too. So what'd you think about the little use of CGI and the amount of use of practical effects here?
I thought the effects on this one was pretty good. I mean, the practical effects were great, and I can't even recall many spots in this that looked really overly CGI.
So there's only really one big area. It's at the end when she's escaping to the cave where she turns the light on. I forgot, but the ceiling's crawling with crawlers.
Yeah.
That is CGI'd.
Yeah.
And so they're looking up. You can kind of tell it's green screened, and that was fine. But the cooler moment from the practical effects was they actually used a miniature for some of the bone sets. And I didn't know that. I think it's at the 56-minute mark. The shot of all the bones, it's a miniature, and the way that they zoomed in on it, it looks like it's normal size. So it's kind of cool. And then one other little tidbit which I found cool is Tobin Bell. You should know his name. He's in all the Saws pretty much. He is the main antagonist in Saw, but he says it's one of his favorite movies. So I'm a fan of this movie through and through.
Okay.
You want to talk budget?
Did you look at budget?
I did. Did you?
No.
I didn't think you did on this one because you said you were.
No, I was waiting because I knew I haven't looked at budgets on any of them, but I knew we said that whatever movies you picked, you was going to look at budgets, and whatever movies I picked.
We did say that. I forgot that. Okay, well, hey, I did it. So there we go. So what would you guess the budget was for this?
This is a small cast. It's really one location, but it's great sets, great practical. I know Marshall tries to do a lot of films on the cheap. He is one of those directors that he does some great films, but it goes a long ways with very little money. If I was going to guess budget, I would say 6 to 8 million.
That's high.
Is it?
Yeah, $3.5 million. Yeah, so that's
what. Well, this for $3.5 million. This movie looks
excellent to me.
Yeah.
What they got out of it, small cast, like you said, like all that works. But what do you think the gross was worldwide?
I don't remember this movie doing that well. I remember it being a pretty low budget. Worldwide, I'm gonna say 15 to 20 million.
Way off.
Really?
Yeah, 57,130,000. So yeah,
this movie it did a lot better than I thought. I didn't think it lost money, but I just didn't think it made like a ton, especially considering all the sequels were direct to DVD.
U.S. alone was 26 million of that, so that makes sense why they went with The Descent 2 and they used that other alternate ending. So all that clicks in.
Okay. Yeah, that movie did a lot better than I thought it did.
Me too. I definitely thought that it was going to be,
'Cause,
before I looked it up, I thought it was going to be a lot less.
Because a lot of times, I mean, because I don't think I know this had what 2 sequels.
I only know there's of the second.
There's at least 3.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's at least 3. And I was thinking that the sequels, the follow-ups to this, were all direct to video. So
I don't see a 3. Definitely a 2.
Descent movie
I see Silent Night, Bloody Night 3, Descent.
series part 2. Okay, I guess there is only 2 parts.
I'd be here for it if there was a third.
For whatever reason, I thought that there was a third one.
This is one that if they put together a third one right now, I think it could do well. And we need some diversity and some different angles to use here.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I thought that there was 3 of these, but I don't think part 2 went to theaters. I think it was direct to video, and that was kind of where I was basing my idea on the budget at, was me thinking that it was direct to video. Because usually when that happens, it's a movie that made a little money but didn't completely smash it either. So,
all right, ratings. What do you
got? So, this is my thing with this movie. Is this movie's great. This movie it's a good movie. It's only my second time I've ever watched it, but I fucking hate it because of the first 45 minutes of it, because it's so claustrophobic. But not only do I hate it for the first 45 minutes, it annoyed me that it took me 52 minutes to see a fucking monster. I want to watch a fucking monster film. I want to see some damn monsters. So it takes.
But you did.
You do. And
Juno.
Let me tell you, after. Well, she doesn't even turn into really a big monster until after the 52 minutes.
What are you talking about? She's flirting with his husband on the rocks. That's
the very
instantly.
beginning, and after that,
and the bitch is crying in the hallway in the hospital because she lost someone, not because of her friend. Cunt. Anyways.
But the back half of this movie is, I'm here for it. The back half of this movie is great, but that first 52 minutes, it took a while to get to that back half of this movie. For me, that hurt this movie a lot. It wasn't even that it was slow. It was intense because of all the claustrophobia spots. It took a while to even get to the claustrophobia spots, but when it did, it was. I don't like that. I don't like that kind of thing because I'm claustrophobic and it terrifies me. But it just took too long to get to the monsters for me. But once that happened, it's a gore fest. It's fun. It gets pretty intense. A lot of the kills are pretty great. It's a solid recommendable movie. I think if you like horror films, you like monster films, and if you like these, especially if you like these really tight claustrophobic films, you're going to like this film a lot. For me, not so much. Back half of this movie I loved. Front half I didn't. So I'm going to sit pretty close to the middle on this one. I'm going to give it a 3.0.
Okay. That's fair. For me, this movie is kind of like a sad but more realistic, not actually, but a more realistic type of Aliens movie for me. Reminds me of Ridley Scott, Aliens, that whole bit.
I can see that.
Yeah, because you've got the jump scares. They're crawling around the corner in Aliens. They took a minute to get to the aliens as well. It has some similarities in that regard. The fact that this is like an inbred, kind of detached from civilization colony of crawlers adds a different twist. It's a female rite of passage bonding thing that's kind of gone wrong. I don't know. This just had all the right elements to me. And, I look up the trivia, I look up all the things, and it's all these things that kind of break down the movie that it is, like having the 21 or 18 different sets. No, it's 21 different sets made for this movie. When you read those things, and it takes away from it being a cave to me a little bit. It's impressive that they did that. But I was impressed while watching the movie first and then finding out the facts after, because while I watched the movie, I was still invested. I still thought everything was great. I thought all the camera angles, the uplighting, the little use of CGI, the large use of practical effects. I was here for this movie. I like this movie. I'm not far away from you, but I'm at about a 3.5 nerds for me.
Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. And like I said, I mean, if you're a horror fan, this is kind of a must see. I think if you're a horror fan, even if it's just a one-time watch.
Absolutely agree.
Any recommendations? You been watching anything?
So went to the theater and I watched the movie Conjuring: Last Rites. Okay, so we can talk about it if you want.
I didn't watch it because the funny thing was Rick from the Whole Damn Enchilada had texted me and goes, "Hey, do you want to go? You want to meet me here in like I can't remember what it was. Wasn't long from then, like an hour or so, and to go watch the new Conjuring movie." And I was like, and I felt like a dickhead after after I responded. I was like, no, I don't like the Conjuring movies.
The wife, it's one of her favorite series. So I took her. I wasn't really invested in it. And the funny thing is I made the mistake. She has lots of sensory issues. And I took her to the Phoenix theaters with the rumble seats. And she was not feeling it. But she was a good sport about it. She stayed through it. She said she loved the movie, hated the seats. So that was her only big thing. But the movie for me, and my wife said this to me, and it kind of helped me a little bit. It's kind of a more realistic approach, how they did it. Not the demons, obviously, those things are all visual for the audience, but it was very slow. It dragged. It had issues with pacing for sure. But then after I complained and said these things to my wife, she goes, yeah, but that was kind of more a realistic approach because of how they had to go. There wasn't all demons everywhere every time. And I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. So for me, this is one of those things where I didn't maybe necessarily enjoy it as much as I would have liked to, but seeing my wife enjoy it meant a lot.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I bailed on Rick on this one. He asked me to go, and I was like, no, I don't like the Conjuring movies. And the thing is, I've seen the movies, but I couldn't tell you what sequence I watched these movies in, and I just was never a fan of them. I mean, to me, they're just kind of creepy movies with a bunch of jump scares, and that's not my style of film that I like.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. This one had one moment that actually got me.
Yeah.
Shit doesn't get me. I jumped. So it was funny because in retrospect, I shouldn't have jumped at it, but I jumped. It was there. And you know what? I know what Rick's going for. He wants you to jump and hold him. So
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. We did go watch The Thing in the theater, though.
Well, that as I said, had I known, I absolutely would have gone.
And he didn't ask me until right as our live started. So.
Well, that's when I saw that you guys were doing it. So
yeah. So my recommendation, and I actually texted him about this the other day. So I'm gonna recommend it, and I'm probably gonna have a lot of you motherfuckers cussing me and hating me for this recommendation. But Borderlands. I watched this, and I don't get to hate. I don't get to hate on this movie. Now, the movie needed to have like a bunch of ultra violence and a lot of fucking gore, over the top, ridiculous amount of gore, and the movie would have been fantastic. As it sits, it don't have it because it's PG-13. It is what it is. I had fun watching it. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought I loved the colors in the film. I loved the look of the film and the story and the way that everything plays out. It felt like a very 1980s post-apocalyptic film type story, kind of generic, but I've got enjoyment out of it because of feeling like that.
We usually see eye to eye on most things, but when we're off, we're really fucking off, dude.
And you know what? I'm probably part of the 1% of the people that like this movie, because this movie has like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. People hated this movie, but I liked it.
So hear me out. Okay?
I also went into it with a very low expectation.
Me too. And I watched it after hearing everyone lose their mind. My only issue with it was Kevin Hart, because set design, character design for what the video game is, the looter shooter, and for what it is, like it delivered. It does, but Kevin Hart doesn't. His moments literally destroyed the film for me.
I mean, he's the worst thing about the film. Absolutely. I didn't hate him in the film, but he was definitely the worst thing about the
He's
film.
the worst 3 feet of Hollywood.
But no, I enjoyed the fuck out of that movie. Especially for $5. I got it on sale for $5. It was definitely worth $5. Now, if I spent $20 on it, I might be pretty pissed. I get it, but for a $5 cheap movie, it was on sale. If you can watch it for free at some point and you haven't seen it, give it a shot. I didn't think I was going to like it, but yeah.
By the way, if you have not seen The Descent and you got this far and you're interested at all, it is free to watch on Fandango right now. So,
alrighty. Anything else?
No.
Well, once again, CineNerdsPodcast.com. Give us a share. Go to our Facebook. Share this video. Leave a comment in the regular comments. Leave a review. Do all that fun stuff. Share, like, comment.
And next week is going to be the start to our little Halloween fun. So
this is kind of a pre-Halloween.
Pre-Halloween a little bit, but not so much. But it is. But yeah. So anyways, next week will be officially in October. And so hopefully you guys are ready for what we got in store.
And after October, we're going to dive into our after Halloween horror films.
There's Thanksgiving horror films, so that's where we usually go. And he's got some that he had in store last year that didn't make the cut, so I know I'm going to have to watch some of these horrible things.
Oh, yeah, I could pull Thanksgiving and a bunch of these out.
And I've never watched Thanksgiving, so that'll be a first watch.
Oh, okay.
So
all right. Till next week.
Peace out.
Later.